started. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. I'd like to officially call the annual meeting of the Towers and Tower Lane to order. I'm Cindy LaFell. I'm the current chair of the board of the Towers, just finishing up my first year. So the Towers is really strong today, and I'm very grateful for that. And our strength has come from our community, both within our walls and throughout the greater New Haven community. Community, along with the safety that the Towers created and continues to provide during the pandemic, is what has made and has kept us strong. Our residents have lived fuller, healthier, and more enriched lives, even in the face of COVID and its associated risks and limitations, thanks to all the support that the Towers team has put into place. I'm really grateful for that. From meal delivery and telephonic and remote programming to support groups, on-site testing, our hugely successful vaccination program, and now even some in-person activities and in-person dining. Our residents have everything they need right within the walls of our home here. Full and happy lives continued, and the isolation that so many experienced in the broader community was lessened for those residing within our home. Thank you to the staff. Thank you especially the staff here today for pivoting to meet these changing needs. Thank you to all the volunteers who made it their business to stay connected, and to family members who supported us through hard decisions and adjustments. Thank you to Gus very much. Thank you for the leadership, the vision, and the tireless attention you give to the Towers always. And thank you to my fellow board members. Raise your hand if you're a current board member so everyone can see you. Yay. So thank you for helping me and supporting me during my first year as chair, and for all you do to support the Towers. And now I'm going to turn it over to Gus, who's going to tell us a little more about what's been happening this year.
Thank you. Make sure I have one on my head. Can you hear me now? Okay. The commercial's not on the air anymore, but I still use it all the time. Okay. Make sure. Just turning off the other one just in case. You good? Okay. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here and coming out and being with us today. And it's so nice to actually see people in person. We haven't done much of that at all, so this is really great. We were outside the other couple weeks ago, and then we actually get to be together around some tables. The pandemic actually taught us a couple of things about our organization. We are pretty innovative, we can adapt, and we're resilient. It is those three characteristics that really have helped propel us forward this year, even despite all the challenges that we've had. You know, it's one thing for us to be able to say we have a lot of accomplishments this year, but it's another thing to say that we have the accomplishments during a pandemic. We have really come a long way. And when we think about the year we're talking about last July, all the way through to this past June, and a lot was going on last summer. A lot was going on last fall. And so even though we're this far ahead, hopefully safer all together, all around the country, we still have a lot of challenges ahead of us. But yet through the entire thing, the Towers has always moved forward. You know, when it comes to our COVID responses, we had very few cases in our building, and we had zero community spread. I'm very proud of that, because a lot of places cannot say that, and the zero community spread is really what kept us safe. I can honestly say that Dawn and the team, everybody has pulled together to make sure we did the contact tracing right, and we were reporting things to the Department of Public Health. We did everything we needed to do, and there were times when there was so much to do related to the pandemic that literally Dawn was like, oh my God, I'm just trying to keep up. So with her, so this is the audience participation part. Every once in a while we're going to do that, okay? So between what she was doing and what Jesse was doing with the building and what everybody was doing with dining, we really did a great job. And I am so proud that we had 93% of our entire community vaccinated well before anybody else. 600. That truly was outstanding, and we were one of the first communities to be able to have the clinic. So we are committed to our community, and we were here for each other. We also wore masks for each other. A lot of places don't have that kind of culture, and they were even defiant sometimes about wearing the masks. We did it, and we did it right. So I'm very grateful to everybody. Also, this past spring, after about a year's worth of intensive work, we were able to launch our proactive partner model. Don did a great job of working on that program, keeping it going, moving hills and mountains to develop a software package for us with our consultant. And now we have this wonderful program that we're going to be able to help enhance everybody's lives through really knowing their needs. It's a comprehensive assessment that helps figure out this person is doing really well in these areas, but they're struggling in this area, or they're at risk for something. So between our proactive partner model and our new software package, we're going to be able to really help people live their best lives. I'm hoping that next spring we'll be able to present it on a national basis at LAJAS in California, and then I think we're going to go to Leading Age in the fall and present it to a conference that has about 2,500 people, depending on COVID. So I'm very excited, and you're going to hear more and more about that as time goes on. 2 weeks-ish ago, we actually cut the ribbon on our co-generator. That is an absolutely amazing project that is going to pay it forward for a long, long time. And the thing is so quiet, I have to literally go over and touch it in order to tell whether or not the thing is running. Because I go, is it not running? And I get out of my car and I put my hand on it and I'm like, oh, okay, good, saving us money, we're good, okay. So it's a wonderful project, and I'm so grateful to Jesse and John, who spent so much time figuring out how to make this work, how to make the meals, being connected to it, so the more money we save, the more we're able to subsidize meals, and then the more residents we feed. So I'm very grateful to you, gentlemen. But it really was our staff working alongside our lay leaders that made this possible. You know, Jen led the effort to be able to raise the funds that we needed for this project. And it was no small feat. It really was one of those things where in the beginning we were thinking, can we really do this? I'm not so sure we could do this. Can we do this? And Jen's like, we're going to do this. So she kept it moving forward. And the combination of Katz, Weiss, and we got Joel Cart, Barry Vine, and of course Jackie Corral, who's on the phone with us right now. And we also have Linda Cedarbaum, and of course our wonderful Cindy, our chair. Everybody pulled together and kept figuring out how to make this work. We had to buy that equipment outright, because if we didn't, we wouldn't have been able to feed as many people. So it's really nice that we take care of our lawn. And Jesse shows that as our show lawn over there. We would just like them to do it, another hour from now. So that's all good. It's all progress too. So without Jen, this would not have happened. And I really was amiss that while we were doing the whole ribbon cutting, she should have been there to cut the ribbon. So I really want to just take a moment. I'm not going to make you embarrassed. You can sit over there. I'm going to give you something that I've hidden over here. This is a small token to say thank you for all that you have done. So let me open it up so people can see it. So why don't you open that, so just so that people can see it and they can know that. So it's a shadow box with a picture of our faces with the scissors. So thank you. And because of this project, we will be serving 15,450 additional meals every year over the next 25 years. That is absolutely outstanding. Our ground floor renovation plans are well underway. They're near completion. We have a task force that is like a design task force with Camo Designs as Newman Architecture, who have been working diligently on transforming our entire ground floor. This renovation, which we hope will break ground sometime next fall, will completely change the way we use our ground floor, and it will also open up so many additional spaces for our residents, craft rooms, sunroom, all these wonderful things, and help us actually expand our proactive partner model even further. The ground floor funding task force is also well underway. That group has been getting together trying to figure out how to pay for it. So we have some money in our reserves, but of course, we decided we were just gonna dream big. So we created this beautiful plan, and now of course we're short the money we need to do the entire project. But that's okay. So we've been doing a lot of politicking, and hopefully in the next couple of months we'll have some money rolling in. The nice part is, we did get notice last week that we got $500,000 to renovate and replace completely our elevators in Tower 1. So those tired old elevators next summer will actually work. So that's a beautiful thing, and that has a lot to do with all these applications that Jen has put together, and all the stuff that she's doing is just hard to keep track of. So she's doing that along with her incredible task force and committee. So as you can see, we're moving forward in a lot of ways. We are really ensuring that our seniors today can have the opportunities to live their best lives. And as we make our plans, we're also figuring out how to be there for our next generation of residents. What does the towers need to be for the next group that comes in? What do we need to look like? Our neighborhood is changing. We're going to change right along with it. So we have a lot of great things in the works, and over time, we are going to continue to grow despite all of our challenges. So it's all these efforts that really take a commitment to community. And I can tell you that we are strong because of the community that is a part of us. We are a part of. A lot of other places, our counterparts I've talked to all around the country, they didn't have the same experience with COVID as we did. We actually were the lucky ones. We were the ones who were able to receive enough money to be able to support serving 95,000 meals for 16 months to keep people safe. Not everybody was able to do that. We also received iPads to help people stay connected. And I can tell you, it's made all the difference in the world. So part of the community, Amy's folks over at Jewish Family Services, they figured out how to continue on providing services and counseling services. A lot of people were feeling isolated, depressed, and they were able to be there for us. As well as the Humanities Fund through the Federation and the Foundation made it so that we could keep going and not be in the red, start being financially in danger. So that's all bravo to everybody as part of the community. And I especially want to thank our board of directors for being here for us, giving their time and their talents. We are stronger because of you guys. We could not be the community we are without the people who are on our board. And I'm very grateful all the way around. Our volunteers are amazing. Most places would have had the volunteers pull back and kind of be reserved. Our volunteers actually stepped forward and said, here, we're here, we can do something. We provided more volunteer hours and more volunteers during a pandemic, of all things. So Sarah, bravo, bravo. And I also want to thank very strongly all of our team members who I'm so proud to be a part of and to be working alongside. Our front desk team has really had challenges this year. You know, they're the ones who are keeping us safe. They're the ones who are screening people at the door, and people aren't always nice when they realize they don't have a vaccination card or whatever. So the front desk has really taken a lot of heat from people. And I just want to say thank you to them for being professional and still being cool and being able to be here for everybody. So thank you to them. Our dining staff, they've had to change their system I don't know how many times. At one point we're eating together, then we're delivering, and then we're like, oh, no, we got to go back to remote. So we really were juggling around, and then they've been slowly building our program back again, and it's coming actually better than it ever was. So thank you to the dining folks. Our facilities folks, amazing. They really have worked their butts off to take care of our building. They've done so many projects. I don't know if you've noticed, but when you pull onto our campus, we look very different than we did a few years ago. We have new signs, everything's painted, everything's cleaned up, we have new gardens. We have a lot of things that make our best first impression. New signage. We've got a huge sign on the side of our building that you can now see from the highway, and I absolutely love that. That's the best real estate ever, right? So our facilities team has done a really good job, and there were times they were scared. They were scared to go into somebody's apartment. They weren't quite sure. Is it safe to go in there or is it not? So I really do appreciate all their work. And then the housekeeping team, remember the beginning of the pandemic, everything had to be clean, or like every 10 minutes, right? We were wiping everything down like crazy. You know, it's not fun to do over and over and over again. And then the wonderful thing is, we ended up expanding all of our programs into our residents' apartments. So we have so many more residents who are now benefiting from having a housekeeper come into their apartment because of grants that we have received, because of Di's leadership and getting people to join our program. So now people's apartments are in better shape, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Then we have the ROC team. You know, it's been a real challenge. All of these things that are happening so quickly, and they have been great. They're adjusting to our new proactive partner model and making it real. You're putting in, saying, well, this works and this doesn't work. So I'm looking forward to what they do with it over the next couple of years, and I do believe it will be a national model, without a doubt. Then we got our life enrichment folks and our volunteer coordinating duo over there. I don't know where Dean ended up, right? These two people, talk about innovative, adaptive, and resilient. They had to figure out, how do we still stay connected to our residents? How do we make sure that they don't feel lonely and alone? They were doing all sorts of things between calls, and they had things that would hang on people's doors for puzzles and stuff, and iPad stuff. And then when we could start being here, we were doing everything we possibly could to keep everybody safe. And then if we had any kind of performer, we put the performer in a plastic box. Literally, because of Robert over there, we call him up and say, hey, we need some plexiglass. We need some wood. Can you hook us up? Now, he's always there, like 10 minutes later. And so we built this booth. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's over there on the corner. So when somebody comes in and is going to sing or anything, put the person in a box, right? So all of these things seem a little bit silly, but they're working for us, and I'm very grateful. Then, of course, you got the finance team. The finance team has been on the roller coaster of their lives, right? Trying to figure out, okay, how do we make this work with the co-generator? How do we use the emergency meals, make sure that we're serving the right number of meals and charging the right things? All of this accounting wizardry, I really appreciate from John, because we are much stronger in the finance department. And on top of that, we have had this turnover that's been crazy. Usually we have 30 or so a year. Last year, 65. This year, we're on track for 60. So it's been a lot more leases, a lot more work, a lot more apartment turnovers. So the team is not only dealing with COVID, but they're also dealing with more work than they ever have before. So I'm very proud of the finance team. Then, of course, you got Becky and Michelle, who are on the front end of all of this, having millions of conversations with people to say, you do want to live at the towers. Come on, let's go. You know, and between what we're doing with Channel 8 and doing some commercials and interviews and websites and all sorts of stuff, these folks have really stepped up, and I'm so proud of everything they're doing. Then, of course, we got Nicole. So Nicole is the quiet one behind the scenes, right? She's the one who does the stuff, right? So she's actually, put together a calendar to keep track of all of our contracts and several other projects. And in the meantime, I'm like, can you find time on my calendar for this? Hey, can you get this group of people together? And I don't know how she does it, but oh my God, every time I've tried to do it, it totally stresses me out because there's too many people. There's like herding cats, right? So she figures it all out, and then she makes it so that I can Zoom all day long. I go from one Zoom to the next, like everybody is nowadays. So thank you, Nicole, for all your work. Okay, so this is also a fun part of the program, where we start to talk about all of these accomplishments being possible because of our lay leaders and because of our volunteers. And I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to honor one individual today who really has made a difference in the towers and has been here for a long, long time and has made sure that we've been strong all along. Jackie Correll has kept us on course during the craziest of times, the transition into being, getting a new president and having a lot of change going on. And I can honestly say that I am so grateful that Jackie is on the phone right there. I'm so thankful that she was my first chair. I've learned so much from her. I have had she's given countless hours of advice and helped me stay on track and said, you kind of messed that one up. You should do this a little bit differently. Very gently and lovingly. I'm so proud to call her my friend, and she's one of the kindest souls I've ever met. So Jackie, thank you so much. Thank you. And now I'd like to welcome Kathy Weiss, last year's recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award, because she's going to present that to Jackie. So Kathy, let me see. I'm going to turn this one off.
I'm Jackie hold it. Can everybody hear me okay? Hi, Jackie. As last year's recipient of the Towers Lifetime Achievement Award, I am so delighted to present this year's award to you. I don't know you as well as many in the room, so I'm going to spit out a whole list of things. I do know you are such a warm and welcoming person, because every time I have spoken with you, you always are such a kind person. And prior to becoming the board chair of the Towers, I know you had many years of involvement as a board member and also on several committees. And your work over the years has helped shape the Towers Foundation fundraising efforts and forged many long-lasting relationships in the community. You've impacted every part of the Towers in a positive and transformative way. Through your leadership, the Towers conducted a search for the new president, and as Gus said, he was so happy to work with you. And you really ensured the organization go from strength to strength. Under your leadership, the Governance Task Force updated the Articles of Incorporation bylaws for both the Towers and the Towers Foundation, which was no small task. Our organization expressed more clearly and beautifully across the community, thanks to the rebranding of the Towers, from Tower 1, Tower East, to Tower Lane, the beautiful logo that we have. During your time as board chair, you led many evidence-based programs. One of them we're all seeing here, which is, I was a part of, the Opening Minds Through Art, state-of-the-art, evidence-based, one of the many first in the state that the Towers has. So thank you for all of those that you helped launch. You successfully oversaw the strategic planning process, the publication of the new strategic plan, and you helped launch our ground floor renovation project. These forward-thinking and innovative initiatives will shape the Towers for years to come. Okay, that's the long list, but I've been asking around about you, Jackie. And one of the things that everybody says, especially the residents, when they see you and talk to you, they know that you really care about the residents. That really comes through. I think you can have all this hard work, but I think to add that, you exemplify what the Towers is in the community. And it is my pleasure to present this award, Lifetime Achievement Award, to you. And I'm told you probably delivered that.
Speaking. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Well, one of the greatest pleasures of my life has been my involvement with the Towers. As many of you know, it started with my mother-in-law, who was a resident. She came from New York City. She was in her 90 years old. She was terrified being in a new place. She didn't know anybody, and I assured her that the love and warmth of the Towers would be something she could really relate to. And she did. She had a second life living in the Towers. And she said to me, you've got to be part of that. You've got to join the board. You've got to do the things that you do and do them for the Towers. And so I said, all right, if that is your wish, I'm definitely going to do that. And as I say, these are the not happiest years that I've had in a long time. After the death of my husband, I threw myself into life, and the Towers was one of the things that gave me the greatest joy. It was also a pleasure working as the elected chair-elect, to be on the search committee. And we saw many, many people, but when Gus walked in his interview, we knew that he was an amazingly special person. And I'm sure you'll all agree that was a darn good choice of everybody on that committee. working on committees. And in addition, Lisa Stanger asked me to join the Jude Foundation, which gives out money to worthy causes and organizations. And so my work continued, and I thank all of you. I thank all of you. And by the way, I also thank Kathy. Please say thank you for that lovely speech.
Thank you, Kathy. Is my mic on? Can you hear me? Okay. So this is the award here. So it's beautiful. It's one of the gold and silver pins, and it says Lifetime Achievement Award for a life of dedicated service and friendship to the Towers, presented 2001. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next piece so I can embarrass a couple of people. So the President's Award is given to an individual who has made a lasting impact on the Towers. And I'm so proud this year to present it to two gentlemen whose volunteerism, okay? So volunteerism has basically made a big difference in our community. So Robert Klee, the former commissioner, or Connecticut Commissioner of Energy and Environmental Protection, as well as a Yale lecturer, and Evan Weiner, the Senior Director in Commissioning and Energy Services for Collier Engineering Company, actually have helped us feed more people more meals. So they're both modest. They're just kind of like, oh, this is so nice, but we don't really need to do this. I'm like, yeah, we really do need to do this because their impact has been much better or much greater than I think they realize. So for the folks who were not at the ribbon cutting last week, I wanted to go a little bit more detail about how these gentlemen helped us be able to serve more meals to more seniors. So there's a program out there in the state that helps organizations get some kind of refund when they save energy. Well, we were going to have to pay a company in order to do that, paperwork and the reporting process. So when I was talking to Robert, he went and researched the whole thing, figured it all out, ran a class for us, because he's so good at doing that we were like, we can do this, we can handle this, right? Jesse's like, I can do this, we're good. But of course, there's one catch. We needed to have an engineer sign off on the reports. And by not having an engineer, we wouldn't be able to do it, and that's why these other companies wanted to charge all these crazy amounts of money. So call Evan and say, hey, can you help us out? We're trying to do this. And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I just need to understand the program a little bit better too. So Robert turns around and he creates another class, and we figured it all out. And now, because of these gentlemen, we are going to be serving 1,680 additional meals every year for the next 25 years. So we have 2 Sadaka boxes for these guys over here. So thank you very much. And afterward, we'll pass them to you. So thank you, thank you. It just means that Evan now has to work for the next 25 years, so he can keep signing those reports for us. So it's really good that he's young. Right? So we also have a couple of people who are leaving us this year, and unfortunately Jackie's one of them. So we got a Sadaka box for you, Jackie, and we're going to bring it to you. But then we have this other guy who's in the room, kind of over quietly in the corner. His name is Robert Katz. Robert is an amazing person who lives and breathes the spirit of the Towers. I can say that I am so grateful that I consider myself one of his friends. And he's the kind of guy where you can call him and say, oh my God, I need this. Can you help me? And he's got it. He figures it out. During COVID, the calls that we would make to him and say, look, we need to cover our front desk. We need to do this. We need to do that. Time and time again, Robert was there for us. And it's not just that. He also embodies the spirit of the Towers. At one point, we were texting with each other. And he turns around and he sends me this picture of the ribbons that he's had, the pins that we've given him, his badges over the years. It is just so wonderful to have somebody, a part of our team, who really does take our mission to heart. And I can honestly say that we're not letting him go. We're holding on to him. We're going to keep a strong connection to him because he is the embodiment of the Towers. So Robert, I am very grateful to you. Good. If you want to, sure, come on. We're informal, we're good. I'm very proud of you. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Three family members here from the 1980s and the late 90s, and I always will be part of Towers. It's a great honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Nate Koff is unfortunately not able to make it here today. We've had a couple things going on in our lives. So Nate has been the chairman of the board for a number of years. He's been connected to the Towers for decades. And he's a good soul and a good person, and we really are grateful to him for being a part of us for so long. And he was also on the committee to help find me, and he's done so many things. So we're very grateful to Nate. And Nate, hopefully you get to see the video, know that we appreciate all of your work. And we also have a box for you, and we'll make sure that we send it out to you. Thank you. So. And for the most part, that concludes our program. Well, cool. Oh, that's right. Okay, I don't want to mess that up. So I'm going to pass it back to Cindy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. That was still working.
Thanks, guys. And I also want to add my appreciation and thanks and recognition to our outgoing board members, Jackie. Jackie and I were both on the board and off the board and then back on the board. So I first got to know Jackie in 2006 when we served on the, when we served on the development committee together, and I learned so much about development. I really knew nothing about it, and so much I learned from Jackie about, why is it called development work? Like what is the real meaning of that word and of developing relationships? And thank you for that. And thank you for helping me transition to the leadership position I have now, and learned a lot about leadership from you too, so thank you. And Rob, thank you so much for all you've done for the Towers, and I know last year you were particularly recognized as the winner of the Golden Wrench for a Golden Bench, which you continue to be. And thank you, Nate Top, out there in Cyberland. Yes, Nate served as chair from 2011 to 2013, and he also is a very long-serving board member. I believe he first joined the board in 2004. So many years of service to the Towers. Thank you. And I hope all of you, I know Rob is going to continue with our development committee, but I hope all of our departing directors will continue to stay involved and engaged with our advisory council for all former directors. Thank you. And now I have a little bit of business to do to induct new board members. So all officers and directors elected by the board at our September 14th, 2021 board meeting are now hereby installed for the year 2021 to 2022 to serve in accordance with their elected terms and to uphold the mission, guiding principles, and values of the Towers at Tower Lane. First, we have 3 directors, current directors, who have been elected to serve an additional term: Linda Cedarbaum, Gail Schlossberg, and Jamie Zubkoff. And I would like to welcome and introduce 3 new board members. Stephanie Jacobson, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. Stephanie is an associate professor of social work at Quinnipiac University and has already been involved at the Towers, serving on our dining task force. Mark Olens, who's here, and Mark, longtime leader in the Jewish community, and we're thrilled to have him get involved at the Towers, so welcome, Mark. And the third is Doug Wardlaw, who also unfortunately couldn't be here today. He is the Chief Fire Inspector for the City of New Haven and a family member of several Towers residents, so has a long history at the Towers. And then I would also like to welcome and thank the newly elected resident advisors. And if you're here, I don't know all of you, so if you're here, please raise your hand when I call your name. Dolores Allen, in the back. Thank you, Dolores. Dale Newman. Hi, thank you, Dale. Cookie Razzie. Hey, Cookie, thank you. Steve Rediker, thank you. And Deborah Tobin. Nice to meet you all. Thank you. I believe, are we done?
The one, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. So the one last thing is we have a beautiful annual report that is almost done. We wanted to put on the finishing touches, so you'll be seeing that in the mail, and we'll have copies all over the place. It's kind of a year in summary, and Jen is doing an amazing job with her team to pull all that together. It's beautiful, and it shows kind of the renderings of our new entrance. So that's going to be exciting to see in the next week. So that concludes our time together. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.